Welcome to Comics Bazaar, the channel of comics commentary and arcana. This Halloween video special features Ghost Rider, Wolverine, Punisher, Hearts of Darkness, which came out in December 1991. So this is a special wraparound cardstock cover by John Romita Jr. and Klaus Janson inking. Just going to open this one out as much as I can on camera here. So those are three parts of the cover, and we also have the back here as well. So I'm just trying to adjust that so you can see everything from Blackheart, Mephisto, all of these damned souls or demons. Actually, it's useful here to read the little summary on the back. A new breed of hero, motorcycle riding spirit of vengeance, adamantium clawed mutant, and battle-hardened vigilante. More than their tools and their methods separate them from the rest of Earth's heroes, there is something that burns more fiercely inside each one of them. Blackheart, a new breed of villain, evil incarnate, the insane hellspawn of Mephisto. Blackheart created by Annocenti and John Romita Jr. in Daredevil issue 270 back in 1989. Bent on the assassination of his father, seeking allies, he attempts to reach into the deepest parts of the heroes' hearts and souls. Christ Crown, a quiet midwestern town, the residents find themselves caught at the center of a struggle between forces they cannot comprehend, a struggle that will cause the heroes to look within themselves, a struggle that will lead to the very gates of hell itself. So it's quite a good summary of what this special project is all about. And also just one other thing to note is that it is not Comics Code approved. Not that it's especially mature readers only content, but it is rather violent, at least for the time, 1991. But that's all to the good now. So there you go. That's that wraparound cover. We have to go to the back of the issue for the credits. And they are, this little chip there, Howard Mackie, writer, John Romita Jr., penciler, Klaus Janson, inker, John Wellington, colorist, Joe Rosen, letterer, and Don Geiger should get a mention here as designer of this book. It's a very nice looking square-bound prestige book format book, and this little design of kind of the combination of the three characters, the flaming head, the skull, and Wolverine's claws cutting out the teeth of the Punisher logo. It's pretty cool. I like the combined design there, and that would have to be credited to Geiger. It's a nice looking book. So there's 47 pages of story here in this issue, and it all begins in this location of Christ Crown. This thorn covered hilltop has been a place of worship and sacrifice for centuries. Tonight is no different. So there's the ritual sacrifice of a blonde young virgin. This kind of devil-faced character cuts her. Her blood spills on the ground. There it roils and boils until something seems to be emerging from the gore, and that is Blackheart, who is Mephisto's son. And that's quite a hulking image of him by John Romita Jr. here, inked by Janson. And the Janson inks throughout are just tremendous in this 47-page story. So you dare summon me with your childish offerings of blood? He asks, this you give to the son of Mephisto? I will take your offering and more. Blood, muscle, and flesh will be mine. I will lick your ashen remains from your charred bone. So he takes the lives of his worshippers, and there they are in their skeletal remains. And then we get this soliloquy of his where we get a kind of explanation of what has happened to him, that every time he uses his powers, he is sent a little mad, and he says, addresses Mephisto and says, "You've diminished me, Father, forced me to be worshipped as a petty deity, and taken from me that which I most admired in man, free will." That goes back to that original storyline that introduced him in Daredevil, the storyline by Annocenti and drawn by John Romita Jr. So Blackheart continues here saying he must become a corrupter of men. But he will be select in his corruption. not the indiscriminate lout that Mephisto has become through the millennia. He says as he looks Hamlet-like at this skull he's picked up from the ground as it crumbles in his own hand, "There is a new breed of man, one whose fall towards the corrupt will not be so far, and one that, with the power you've so foolishly allowed me to keep, I will be able to imbue with the strength to bring you down. You want a game, Father, you will have one, a game that I will win, before madness overtakes me." That's a great shot of the hill silhouetted out with these torches of flame and the smoke rising from them, and Blackheart here with the skull. Little touch of Predator about that too. And then we have the game beginning, the pawns moving into place. So we pick up with Dan Ketch here, riding on his bike to Christ Crown. And he thinks what the reader thinks. What a name for a town. And what's a kid from Brooklyn doing out in the middle of all this clean air in the Midwest? And I just like the detail here on his sunglasses, his aviators by Romita Jr., where we see the median line on the double lenses of his glasses. That's really cool. Really nice work there. So he hits town, and he's on Main Street there, and he rides by a boarding house, Flo's boarding house, and she's coming out the door to greet him, and he says to her, "My name's Dan Ketch and I'm looking for a place to stay for a couple of days." "Well, Dan Ketch, you came to the right place. I'm Flo Crumb." So that's who she is. And Dan Ketch is our kind of point of view character in this special. And, I would say too that this is more of a Ghost Rider story, overarchingly. But there's, of course, Wolverine and Punisher are going to show up soon enough. So Flo says to Dan, and I like this detail of Romita Jr.'s where she's just wiping her hands in her apron there. That's a nice bit of body language. Seems to be a little town's time for visitors. Two other rumours are with me right now. And this used to be the slow season. I guess things are picking up. So who are those two other rumours? Meanwhile, this kid throws a basketball at Dan. She's very apologetic. She didn't mean to. And her name is Lucy. So she's Flo's daughter. And Dan greets her and he says, when I was your age, my sister used to throw her ball at my head. You remind me of her. "Did your sister grow up to be as pretty as my mommy?" she asks. "Yes, she did." And that's Barbara. That's Dan's dead sister now at this point. So where's Ghost Rider Volume 3? What's it up to issue number in December 1991? It's up to issue number 20. So good year and a half into Volume 3 of Ghost Rider by that point. But still lots of mysteries regarding who the Ghost Rider is that possesses Dan Ketch when innocent blood is spilled. So Flo tells her daughter Lucy to go in and wash up because dinner's got to be ready soon. And she says, "Sometimes it just worries me how she takes to some people, but then again I truly believe that there isn't a bad bone in that child's body." So it's important to the story that Lucy is very much an innocent. And I love this little detail here, the way that Romita Jr. has drawn this, where Dan's looking up the stairs. He sees one of the doors is ajar, and it's just slightly ajar, and there's a silhouette inside, and he's thinking to himself, wonder if that's the guy I'm supposed to meet. And great use of screen tone here as well by Janson for the shading over Dan's eyes and the stubble as well on his jaw. That's a really nice panel. So then he comes down after having a shave for dinner, and whose is this beefy hand here with this mug of beer? And Flo says to Dan, "Let me introduce you to our two other boarders." Okay, this is funny. Let's turn the page here. There's Mr. Logan from up north and Mr. Frank here from back east too. And look at this little pencil moustache on Mr. Frank. So what a dinner time this one is. These two guys sitting around the table saying nothing. No greetings from them either. So Flo explains both of them are here to take advantage of the fine hunting we have in these parts. And Lucy asks Dan, does he hunt? "No, Lucy, never have." "Good," she says. "I think it's yucky, like in Bambi when his mommy gets and Flo tells her to be quiet. And Dan hears he's sitting down, he's having to think something about these two. I feel like I've met them before, and indeed he has. And Lucy says, even though they hunt, Mr. Frank and Mr. Logan are real nice, but I think they should take pictures of animals instead. I know they don't really want to hurt anything, right? And look at the face on the lads. This is hilarious. It's so good. And then later, Dan's up in his room, thinking the kid's a cutie. Wonder how good she would think I was if she knew I was Ghost Rider. And then we get to, well, why is he there? Well, he got this note addressed to Mr. Ketch. The secrets of the Ghost Rider can be yours. Come to Christ's Crown and all will be revealed. Trust me and learn the secrets of the Soul Crystal. Sincerely, BH. So what could BH stand for? Blackheart, perhaps? So the Soul Crystal, thinks Dan. The only other time that I've heard about that Soul Crystal was from Blaze. That's Johnny Blaze. Wait a minute. Nightmare mentioned it to me too. Could this all be another scheme of his? Even if it is, I've got to take the chance. I've got to know if I'm going to lose control to the demon within me like Blaze did. And there's his bike parked out front. And that, of course, is the bike that transforms him into Ghost Rider when its fuel cap starts to glow. Or so has been the case up to this point. And then we pick up with Mr. Frank in his room. And we get his first-person monologue. I'm taking no chances, no more than usual. Here he is cleaning his gun here. Somebody sends me a note claiming to know where one of the slime who killed my family is holed up. I already know that answer for certain. I put them under the ground myself, but somebody was able to find me, get the note to me. I don't like that, not at all. There's a knock on the door, and he's ready. He puts the magazine up inside his handgun. Guess who? This is hilarious. And one claw through the door. Mr. Logan, thought it was you. Didn't think you'd recognize me, says Castle. That phony moustache ain't that good of a disguise, says Wolverine. Besides, you've got the stink of death on you, Punisher, just like me. So he retracts his claw, and Punisher pulls off the fake moustache. What brings you here, Wolverine, he asks. I suppose the same as you. Get any mysterious notes lately? You too. So Wolverine got a note. What was it about? A bunch of moose dung telling me that I could learn about who gave me my pig stickers, as though I care. And in 1991, this is coming out, late 91, this is coming out after Weapon X, Barry Windsor Smith's Weapon X. And Wolverine here, of the opinion, or at least it's what he says, he doesn't care about how he got his adamantium claws and skeleton. So Punisher conjectures some sort of setup. Looks that way. I love the height differential here between Wolverine and Punisher. So many artists forget that, but not John Romita Jr. So Wolverine replies, looks that way. But why both of us? We don't exactly travel in the same social circles. And Punisher asks, you think the Ketch Kid is involved? I don't know, says Wolverine. Something about him tickles my nose. So Dan Ketch has a different smell, obviously, from Ghost Rider. Wolverine says, I guess we're just going to have to wait. I'm a terrible waiter. Me too. So Dan is thinking the same thing on his bed. The waiting's killing me. Feels like he should be doing something than just sitting in the dark. And it is so dark here at night. Then boom, Blackheart is in the room. Punisher's getting suited up to see what's out there in the night. But when he turns around, Blackheart's there in his room waiting for him. Wolverine, the same, he smells him. Something smells like rotting meat. Smells like death. It's Blackheart. So Blackheart has the power of trilocation, it would appear. Dan's thinking he's got to get to the bike, but Blackheart's got offers to make to the trio. That's a great anchor image of Wolverine with his claws out by John Romita Jr. Great inking on the page as well. Just look at the technique from Janson. He's definitely using a dry brush there, or maybe some tissue that he's got the ink on, and he is applying it around Wolverine there. Lots of different inking techniques from Janson throughout this issue. I'll point some of them out as we go along, but that looks great. Also on Blackheart, he is sometimes uses a bit of white media as well, some white ink too, like here around his face, and not so much on this one actually. And then great double page half spread of Wolverine leaping at Blackheart, but his claws go right through him. Punisher blasting away at Blackheart, doing Blackheart no damage. So Blackheart talks about, what he believes is the essence of these characters. All three of you represent humanity's newest breed of hero. A hero that isn't afraid to approach the edge when the need arises. It is an intangible thing, a grey area which resides within each of you in a place that my father would call your soul. It allows you to override the human emotions that often get in your way and go for the jugular. I can help you tap further into that place with your consent and expand upon your powers enough so that I truly believe we could kill my father. Think of what a boon that would be to the human race. So this is the deal he's offering them, and also kind of the theme of the story overall. Do these three inhabit a moral grey area? Are they prepared to go to the edge and over in certain situations? Are they remorseless, amoral killers, or what is the question asked? I love the design of these pages with Blackheart, three of them there, the 6 panels of the 3 characters and their reactions to Blackheart's specific offers. Also love the responses of the different characters. So Wolverine's point about or response to the offer or invitation to kill Mephisto is he says, way out of my league. Maybe you should talk to Thor the Silver Surfer. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to help. And Castle, what is this crap? You think I'm buying into all this mystical mumbo jumbo? Get rid of the hologram and I'll show you some hidden places inside of you. That's hilarious. And then Dan is the altogether more normal and kind of humane of the 3 of them. And he doesn't know how he fits into all of this. But Blackheart is something interesting to say. He says, can you be so naive? Do you think, really, that it was an accident, chance perhaps, that brought you in contact with the Ghost Rider? Can you not look inside yourselves, all of you? So this is, again, a point I was saying earlier about the development of the mystery around who the Ghost Rider is in Volume 3. Not Zarathos, someone or something else. So they all 3 of them reject Blackheart's offer. And he says that his response is incredulity, and so he determines to convince them in a different manner as he disappears. And then they hear Lucy crying out regarding her mother, and I love the illustration here in the 3 panels of Romita Jr., where we've got, in effect, each character illustrating a movement of the head turning. So Ketch to Castle to Wolverine. And they emerge from their respective rooms. This is a great image here of Wolverine sliding down the banister. And what they see is that Flo is in some kind of trance, and she is being drawn with the rest of the town to, well, it'll turn out to be Christ's Crown. And Lucy begs Mr. Frank and Mr. Logan to help her mommy because there's a bad man who's making the people of the town do bad things. So Dan asks the question, what are they going to do? And Wolverine, of course, says they're going to help and they're going to bring the mother back safe and sound. Now you can really see on this page the colouring here by, who was it again, John Wellington. This watercolour dyes looks really good. So Wolverine, Punisher racing off, claws out, guns cocked, and Dan thinking as he races towards his bike, what can he do? He's not in Wolverine or Punisher's league, but Ghost Rider on the other hand. So he runs around to the side of the building where the bike was parked. It's not there. And then he hears Lucy crying out. He thinks he's got to do something. And there he sees, in the centre of town, Blackheart on top of his motorcycle. Lose something, Daniel. Blackheart mocks him. A bit emasculating, isn't it? This is how my father has made me feel. Condemned to live amongst my inferiors. You will help me, all three of you. You will see it my way, the right way. So Dan thinks, this thing is nuts. He's a lunatic. I've got to get through this crowd, find Lucy, find the bike. Looks like Punisher and Wolverine are having just as much trouble. And there is Punisher there, Wolverine. The crowd is so thick they can't make their way through without injuring anyone. And what I love about the rest of the story now is the pace picks up. We're into the action portion of the story. So Blackheart says, you want to hurt me, don't you? Why let the townsfolk stand in your way? They're corrupted. Cut, slash, shoot, pummel. This is what you do best. But the guys are not going to do that. And so Wolverine pops his claws here. That's a great illustration by John Romita Jr. And the inking by Klaus Janson is excellent. Punisher blasting away at Blackheart, but doing him no major harm. Dan unable to do anything. And Blackheart just races on Ghost Rider's bike above the crowd. And he cuts Lucy and her blood splashes on Dan's face. It's interesting here where initially he thinks Barb's, no, Lucy's blood. So Dan has an obsession about getting vengeance for the death of his sister, and it may be what Blackheart was referring to earlier. You know, that the Ghost Rider is within him. So he races off on the bike. By the way, that bike is difficult to draw, and this panel here really gives you a good look at the bike. Romita Jr. is so good at simplifying things, and that's a nice model to copy if you want to draw Ghost Rider's bike. It's clearer than the likes of Javier Saltares and Mark Teixeira drew the bike. So Blackheart drives away on Ghost Rider's bike. He's making his way towards Christ's Crown. Wolverine asks Punisher, has he got wheels? Punisher always has his van. So he grabs a ride with Punisher and says, I'm in the mood to cut something. So they're going after Blackheart. And Dan here realizes he can't keep up without his bike, and thinks he's doing this to torture me. I need transportation. I need a bike. So he throws this empty bin through the window of the shop front here, as trying to wipe the blood from his face, get it off his hands. And then he has a moment of epiphany here. Could Blackheart have been right? He asks himself. Does the transformation come within me? What does that mean? From within me. So we see here the silhouette of the fuel cap of the Ghost Rider bike, but it's on the palm of his hands. And he thinks, what does this mean? What does this say about me as the flesh melts off his skeleton and off his face? What does this say about... That's a great image here in dark silhouette of the motorbike with the flames, the hellfire all around it. Really nicely done. And then turn the page, great double page spread coming up. What does it say about Ghost Rider? That's tremendous. Look at that. Look at all the work on this page. Great inking here. Look at the techniques. So you've got the white media cut through the blank ink. So he's using white paint here. Tremendous work. Really great stuff. Now Blackheart says, Ghost Rider, it is your turn to suffer. The blood that you have spilled cries out for vengeance. The cries will be quieted. So, back with the lads in the Punisher's van. It's too quiet, says Wolverine. I know. Maybe it's time we made some noise. Grab a weapon, I'm well stocked. Thanks, says Wolverine. I carry my own. Pops his claws. Right, says Punisher. So Wolverine asks Punisher, who are we doing this for? Punisher says, the kid. I don't like seeing kids hurt. You and me both. Just wanted to make sure before we started wading into this thing. Says Wolverine, it's going to get bloody. I've seen it before, says Punisher, and we've got this. It's called Christ's crown because it's surrounded by a crown of thorn bushes. I don't doubt that, says Wolverine as they go through the thorns. It's just, this time it's likely to be our blood. And Punisher responds, I've seen my share of that too. Welcome to the club. But if we don't get through these thorns, ours is going to be the only blood we see. And again, great inking here by Janson. And again, he's using white media. White paint is cut in to indicate the thorns that are lacerating their flesh. Wolverine's okay with his healing factor, not so much Frank Castle. But then Ghost Rider blazes a trail right through the crown of thorns, clears a path for them right up to the hilltop. We've got Blackheart there, he's got Lucy, we've got Ghost Rider's original bike over there, and Blackheart is taken by surprise. A new motorcycle, Ghost Rider, interesting. There is much about you that remains a mystery. I wonder if even my father truly knows who or what you are. But I guess we can find out before we kill him. Back to business at hand. So he makes he sweetens the deal for all three. Promises Castle to be reunited with his family. They can be his again. Promises Wolverine to get to the bottom of the mystery of how he got his adamantium skeleton, which he battles with here. So he's playing on their secret desires. And then we get to Ghost Rider, where he says, Zarathos, if that is who you are, your memories, your power, your former greatness can be restored. The secret is within the soul crystal with my father. Help me and we will tear the secret from him. You can once again be a devourer of souls. Your answers? And the lads all say no. The most eloquent way possible for them, with violence. It's a great image there of them all attacking Blackheart. And then we have these kind of demons emerging from the hilltop, and they grab Lucy. The pace really picks up now towards the end of the story. And so they're surrounded by these kind of demonic beings. Blackheart drags Lucy down into hell, and Ghost Rider follows. So here we've got Romita Jr.'s vision of hell. We haven't seen this from him since Daredevil. And he attacks the demon creatures, frees Lucy, but then Blackheart manifests and says, you are teetering on the edge of greatness, the edge of power. Take the final step, join me. But Ghost Rider repudiates the offer. He says, you talk of an edge, of the dark place in all souls. How can you see into a place that even I cannot? Look into yourself, fiend, he says. See the putrefaction, the rot, the madness that your father has forced upon you. See the pain you've caused. I love the way he takes his gloves off here and turn the page. Look at that, double page, half spread. Punches Blackheart right in the jaw with his hellfire fist. Feel the pain. It's great stuff. So Ghost Rider's not taking on Blackheart's offer. He says, the knowledge I seek will be mine without your help, without your madness. Your edge means nothing to me. I cannot see it. Your offer is a hollow one. Your threats are hollow. You are hollow. So Blackheart concludes you cannot be the great soul devourer, Zarathos, the one with the power to rival my father. You're a self-righteous fool who has spurned the power, and now we'll see that my threats are not hollow. So he gets ready to kill Lucy, but his arm is slashed off by Wolverine, and Punisher's with him. So they've entered hell to save Lucy, and they blast away. Punisher blasts away at Blackheart. It's great. Couple of panels here. He is really taking him apart with gunfire out of both hands, double-handed. He's blowing Blackheart away. And he says, you can take your edge and shove it. It doesn't exist. No grey area. If I ever had a soul, it's long gone. There's just right and wrong and punishment. So he blows Blackheart apart. So then the lads are contemplating the aftermath of taking Blackheart down, and Wolverine's got a little speech where he says, in response to what Punisher said, "I think the point my friend is trying to make is that we all have our personal limits. We may be close to an edge, but it's an edge that we choose never to go over. Too bad you didn't make the same choice," he says to Blackheart. "You allowed your father to push your buttons. He played you like a puppet. You tempted, you tortured, you threatened. You became your father. Welcome to the real world, Junior." Punisher kicks his head. And Punisher, of course, incredulous in the supernatural. "What is it? Some sort of mutant? No offense." Wolverine says, "None taken." So Ghost Rider says to take the girl back to the hilltop, and that he's going to make sure that Blackheart doesn't follow. So Blackheart is reconstituting himself, but then there's an intervention here, Hellfire coming between the two, and we've got this appalling appearance of Mephisto. So this is, I love John Romita Jr.'s design for Mephisto, going back to his run on Daredevil. It's a grotesque reptilian creature with these breasts and teeth, and then these people emerging out of his genital area as well. Really horrifying and disgusting version of Mephisto, and great and fantastic with his long black lizard tongue as well. So Mephisto has something to say to Ghost Rider. Well, first of all, his son, well done, he's pleased. "You've become exactly what I hoped. Your father is proud. Perhaps now you can stop with all your talk of my archaic ways and accept what you are. Learn that you cannot change yourself any more than you could change these heroes. And you, Ghost Rider, you're an enigma, even to me. I sense that it is a puzzle over which we will come together in the future, but today is for my son. Time for a father to help him reflect on the lessons learned." So how is Mephisto going to do that? Well, he picks him up and eats him and tells Ghost Rider to go, but we'll meet again soon, and there will be no grey areas involved. The truth will be revealed. So Mephisto not responsible for Ghost Rider, and Ghost Rider not Zarathos, confirmed by this one shot. Very interesting. So now we're back on the hilltop, Christ Crown, and the people from the town are out of their trance, and Lucy's mom is reunited with her daughter, and then it's just for the guys to think about the questions raised. All this talk about us being close to the edge, Punisher says, "What do you really think?" Wolverine, "Who knows?" And Ghost Rider, "It doesn't matter if there's an edge or if we occasionally cross it. As long as the innocent are protected, our cause is just." And so Lucy, not afraid of the Ghost Rider despite his flaming skull, and she is an innocent girl, and so Ghost Rider is not a demonic agent. And that's something confirmed here. And I like this rose with is it blood dripping from it? Interesting imagery at the end. So there you go. I do hope that you enjoyed this Halloween special. Ghost Rider, Wolverine, Punisher, Hearts of Darkness. If you enjoyed the video, please like it on YouTube, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content like this.